Hi there. Unfortunately, Golden Boys has been terminated, and the cast has been set on fire, thrown into an oven, baked to about a 457 degrees Celsius, and served to our new cast, Inquisitive Echoes.
So these mics, you just literally gotta talk into them.
We talk into them?
Yeah. So you gotta get close to me, James.
Like this?
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm
Okay.
a very intimate person.
It's okay. I'm used to it by now.
Actually, what was kind of funny is that for a long portion of my life,
Mm-hmm.
everybody thought I was gay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, same.
And then
I mean, not me. I was been straight forever. So
I-
good.
I was very much a straight man. And I got to a point where everybody just kind of assumed. And I was like, bro, I'm literally dating your girlfriend. Like, what?
Well, you never know.
That's dope. It's a dope way to go about it.
Yeah. When I was in dance class, I would be very flamboyant and like just out there just because it was funny to me.
Uh-huh.
And like a lot of people assumed I was gay because of that. And I thought that was funny, so I didn't
You didn't, like, correct them or
I
anything?
didn't tell Monet. I was like, maybe not.
Yeah. It's always fun messing with people.
Mhm.
Like, and I think that goes into like confidence, just like being so sure of yourself. Or like, yeah, whatever, you can say what you want.
Yeah. It's just so liberating not caring about what people think.
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah.
it's powerful.
No, I think when I was first getting comfortable with like who I was and who I wanted to be, I would make jokes all the time because personally I was very comfortable with it was like my sexuality. So when people are like, "Oh, I bet you be sucking dick," be like, "Yeah, it was good. What was your night like? What was your night like last night? Bet you it was just you and your hand, right?
Damn,
At least somebody wants to hang out with me."
that's tough.
But I feel like when it always came down to things like that, I didn't care. Especially because for me, one of the harder things for me was my speech. So
Right.
I was always the odd kid out just because of the fact that I didn't speak like everybody else. And it wasn't until I figured out how to fake talking well that people were like, "Oh, okay, maybe he's just a normal kid. He's just gay."
He's cool, just gay as hell, and I don't know how to
Hey,
feel about
in
that.
society now, you can be that way.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with it.
No, I love gay people.
Yeah, shouts out to all those homo erotic people out there.
All you Homo sapiens out there.
All you homo sapiens, homo sapiens. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, growing up in church and stuff like that always made a problem. But to me, even within that context, it's just like, do what you want.
Yeah.
I have so much going on in my own head that I should probably be worried about, clinically, mentally, or otherwise. Like that, me worrying about what somebody else likes or what somebody else does behind closed doors. Like why even put effort into it? And like seeing someone as a person,
I agree.
regardless of what they do, like, say, like, who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really care what people think about me, and I also like to make people laugh. So what ends up happening is I'll get very like self-deprecating, but sometimes it gets to the point where I'm too self-deprecating.
Oh, no.
And then other people start joining in, and I'm just like, oh wait,
Hold on.
hold on, it ain't that bad.
Yeah.
Let me take a step back here.
Yeah. Self-deprecating humor is my favorite. And my mom hates it. Like, my mom,
She's
if
like,
I make
"What-"
any joke, she's like, stop saying that. and
You're a wonderful young man.
yeah. I mean, but she knows about depression, and she was there right before I tried to take my own life. So I joke about it because now looking back, I'm like, I can laugh about something like that. You know, I can find the humor or the joy in things that I didn't find so humorous back when I was in peak sad boy. So I joke about it now just to kind of get it out there and get it over with.
Yeah.
But I think I'm like a step away from
Oh dear.
nickelbacking myself over a cliff. So, but I don't know. It's funny to me. Like I laugh all the time about it. So
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Yeah, and I think that's why it's like me and Steven laugh a lot about it's like a dad jokes because he lost his father. It was a little bit ago. He was. I'll just say, you're too young to lose your father. If you haven't even had a chance to ask him for advice on how to be a father.
Yeah.
At least just personally, I feel like the age that he was at, I know he felt like he was going, but still, it's just really sad. And then for me, it's like me and my father, we have a different relationship. So there was a lot. He was away a lot because he was in the army, and then my parents split, so then he wasn't always around. So he and I like to make a lot of it's like dad jokes, and that's how we have our humor. I think just laughing about your situations is just maybe one of those ways to cope with it.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. If you can't laugh about something, like, it's just gonna eat at you.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So, like, I could sit here and be sad about it, and I was thinking about this earlier today. Just like everything is a choice. Like love, sadness, happiness, whatever. Like, I'm not saying by any means you choose to have it happen to you. Like with love, for instance, you don't choose. Like they say, you don't choose who you love. Your heart decides who you love for you, but your choice to dwell in it that's your choice by any means. That's why girls choose to stay in abusive relationships, because they feel like it's their choice. Yes, there's life-threatening things and stuff that comes into play, and not even like detrimentally toxic relationships. Just toxic as in he doesn't treat you the way that you deserve to be treated. He doesn't talk to you. He just talks to you any kind of way. Stuff like that. Yep. You choose that because of some outside factor, or I love him, I can change him, I can whatever the thought process is on that. Yeah. You choose that. And I feel the same way about happiness. You choose to be happy. Yeah. Like happiness happens to you. You go to Disneyland. Holy shit. Like it's Disneyland. Like it's hard to be sad there, but at the same time you choose happiness. Like you can choose to be sad. You can choose to, this ride's too long, and then that ruins your whole day. Or the line's too long. It ruins your whole day. Can't buy this thing because it's sold out. Ruins your whole day. Like little fickle things like that. You choose that path to take from whatever your environment is.
I will say that there is a limit to that, because I actually said the same thing. I had clinical rotations at like a psychiatric facility, and the guy who was leading the group, he was having people like contribute to the discussion, and like he came to me and I basically said, oh, no matter what happens, you always have a choice. And he was like, wrong. And like, like, geez, you could be a little bit nicer about it. Yeah. But afterwards, he was basically telling me that, like, for some people, they have like certain, like maybe chemical imbalances in their brain, and they literally cannot choose how they feel. And I think it's important to be aware of that sometimes you, like, words like that aren't going to help them. And if they don't help you, get help.
That really comes down to that.
I feel some type of way about that because I have depression, so I understand that point of view. But for me, it's letting depression decide who I am and decide how I think. I think it's giving it too much power. Like I can't, and it's the illusion of control, obviously. Yes. At the same time, I just don't want to be led by it. Right. I don't want it to be who I am, because it's not. It's a part of how I think. Absolutely.
Yeah. And for like me too, I also feel a similar way. Like you can sort of like dictate how you feel. Like you can react or not react to these emotions.
Well, what was interesting about that was I'm taking a class right now where because you had brought up that it's a choice, and you
in a manner of speaking.
Well, yeah, I'm taking bits and pieces here. you were talking about how there was a choice, and then you were talking about how some people don't have choices, and you had said get help, and I think that's really the underlying statement is that if you do have those feelings, you should definitely get help. But I think what Braylon was trying to say was that it's like it's a mindset, which is another thing I'm learning. Which you can be in really bad spots, but making that effort and that attempt to do something about it. So kind of tying that in with your kind of more or less get help. It's that you're actively trying to do something about maybe trying to fight. I guess just trying to fight it more or less.
Yeah. And I mean,
sorry
like,
about lack of
sorry,
like a words on that
Look
subject.
at you
No,
off.
no, go ahead.
No, and that's what I'm saying. Like when I was younger, like when I was 14, 15, because it started when I was 13. I didn't seek help till like last year, so or a couple of years ago. So, because when I was from like 13 to like 19, 20, I didn't know what to call it. I just thought that's just who I was. Like that's how I thought. But when I researched it and gave it a name, then I could take a step back and be like, okay, how long has this been happening? Since I was 13, it's like, Jesus, this has been happening for years. And I didn't know it because I didn't know, like, I didn't have any help, essentially. And I didn't know that I needed help until I started talking to someone else about it. Because when you start to talk to other people, you realize one or two things, especially with Twitter nowadays. Like, you realize we're all the same person and we're just living different lives, or something about the way that you go about things isn't the normal way to do it, or the way that you do things is unique. Usually when it's negative, like you realize, I'm thinking this one way and no one else is thinking this way. Maybe there's a reason for it. And that's how I came about researching it, is how, because people always make the self-deprecating jokes like, man, fuck today, or fuck mine, I'm just going to kill myself, or something like that. Like people make jokes about that all the time, but how often that happens with depression is way more often than I knew was normal for people. It's like, yeah, for them it's a joke, they brush it off and they leave it alone. But for me, that joke will stick in my head that entire day, and then more jokes will pile on top of that, and then more thoughts just get darker and darker and darker. And by that point, I've receded into this little isolation ball that I think I make myself believe that no one else is in, that no one else can understand how many thoughts have piled on. Like,
And you're alone.
I'm alone. It's like my brain told me all these things. But when I started talking to other people, realizing, no, you're not. You have a family, you have people who support you, friends, all this stuff like that. And if you just talk about it and choose to fight it, that's where choice comes in. So I chose to fight it. So now I'm in a way better space than I was before. And I think part of having the choice is realizing you have one. You have the ability to fight. You have the ability to really combat this chemical imbalance or the way that you think. Like, is it easy? Absolutely not. It took me years to do it. It's going to take other people years to do it. There's way worse situations besides depression that people deal with on a daily basis, whether it's abuse, mental, physical, a plethora of things. But like you said, the underlying thing is if you need help, you got to ask for it.
Yeah.
And if you think that something's wrong, go off of that thought. Even if it turns out to be something frivolous, like, oh, you just had a bad day or something like that. If you think there's something wrong, say something, because you never know what you could prevent down the road. And making a mountain out of a molehill. You never know. So, like I said, if you need help, ask for it. And you'll feel way better. Yeah.
So I'm curious, what do you guys think about, like, let's say you see somebody and something's happening to them, and you know that it's not okay, let me just frame this first.
Yeah.
So
This is a scenario.
I know
Okay, good.
somebody, and they're like getting on in years, and like their body is like starting to break down, and I'm telling them like, oh, you should like do like physical therapy, or you should go to the gym to like strengthen your muscles and whatnot, and to delay the effects of aging. And they're just like, they don't want to do it. So, and I'm at a loss, like how, like I can see them suffering, and I want to help them, but if they don't want to help themselves, what can I do? So, in that frame, like, how do you guys feel about helping people who don't want to help themselves?
Yeah, that's one that I've gone through a lot. I mean, because it's not even just like with exes and things like that. It's like I've had like it's like family where they know that they're in a bad spot.
Yeah.
I currently have someone who's very dear to me, and she's in something that is basically the opposite of what she wanted, like entirely. Like this, like the life that she is living now is nothing like the life that she would have thought that she would have had, or even we really wanted. And choices were kind of made for her, and what sucks is that I feel that we kind of talk about it a little bit, and she understands that something is wrong, but she's in a spot where she doesn't really know what to do. And at first I kind of felt like she didn't really want to do anything about it. And I think it's just helping, just for us, the only thing that we were able to do is show her that that she had our support. She had my support. And I'd go up to her and just let her know, like, hey, I'm here for you when you need me. And a lot of times, especially with her, she would kind of vent it out. She'd kind of break down crying a little bit, but then she'd also kind of have that moment where she's actually trying to figure it out. And I think it's just by having that support or having somebody there that once they make that choice, that they know that they can do something about it. So I think what you were doing, where you're like, hey, maybe you should go do this, maybe you should go do that, just being there, I think that's something. And that's sadly probably the only thing that we can do in that position.
Yeah. Just like a quick story. Like when I was in middle school, I used to talk to people about relationships all the time. Like it started off with this one dude, my friend, I'm not going to say his name, but I used to talk to him every day because him and his girlfriend were in the same class. I had just joined this class because I was like a teacher's aide. And then I switched to TV production because that's what I did. I did it in elementary school, weirdly enough. I was on the morning news in elementary. I did it in middle school.
You were that kid.
Yeah, I was that kid.
Nice.
I was.
I mean, at least got the voice for it though.
Yeah, when I was known. I said crap on the news, and I was known for that. And it was hilarious. Either way, I used to talk to him every day, and then some other people from that class would talk to me too because I realized I talked to him so much, and then it kind of like spread throughout the school a little bit. So I became Hitch because that movie just came out. So sorry.
No, that was me too.
Yeah, so I became Hitch and just talked to people about relationships. So when it comes to that, trying to help people, like I'm telling you, even as an adult, like I would give people scenarios because they would give me a situation like, oh, he said this, and then after he said that for like a week, he's been acting this way, mostly girls. So I was like, what do I do? It's like, okay, well, first off, what did you say? And then I get both sides of the story, and then I give them, okay, so either you can do it this way, scenario A, this is going to happen, and then you do this. Scenario B, this is going to happen. You say this, and then this is going to happen. And scenario C, I would lay it out for them, give them the blueprint, like tell them exactly what was going to happen. It's like, or you could try your own thing, or what were you thinking of saying before I even give them the scenarios? They say that. It's like, okay, I'm going to tell you that's not going to go well. So let's try these. And then some people, they'd pick one. Everything that I said would happen. And this is no credit of my own. Like I've studied relationships, like psychology. I've taken college classes on it. Like I put in my time. I'll put it that way. So some people, they'll pick a scenario, they'll be like, yep, that's exactly how you said it was happening. I appreciate it. It's like, cool. Then we move on. Other people, they completely ignore everything that I say, completely ignore all of it, do their own thing. And sometimes it'll eventually go back to one of the scenarios that I talked to them about. So it'll go back to one of them. It's like, okay, but you still got there, so good. But at the same time, you could have just made it so much easier on yourself. So like from those experiences and just talking to people about their situation, I've learned that I had to figure that out early. Like when I went into high school, because you could tell them, you can give them the blueprint, let them know exactly how it's going to go, tell them exactly what to say. But some people will still choose to do their own thing. Yeah. And you have to be, I take it from like a counselor's position. Like I can suggest all day, give you guidance, tell you, give you advice or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's your choice to use it or not.
No.
Like a personal trainer, I guess. Well, personal trainers, they just tell you what to do. There's glorified teachers that yell at you to work out. But like a teacher, you can listen to them. You can study all the notes, take the test, pass it. But if you take it with you, that's your choice. Like outside of the classroom, you know what I mean? Like outside. So outside of my conversations, you can know everything that I'm talking about, believe it, whatever. But if taking it outside, going outside the door, that's your choice to take it with you. So,
and I love teachers like that. I love teachers that really, they're trying to bring value into your life. That really give you something that not only are you going to use just in the classroom, but like when you leave, that's now a part of you.
Yeah.
And I've been very fortunate enough to have a lot of teachers like that.
And that's the thing though too, because like most people can count on one hand how many teachers they've had like that.
Yeah.
And I think that's why people, when they talk about teachers need to get paid more and teachers need this and need that, it's like, yeah, but everyone can remember their terrible teacher.
Yeah.
Everyone can remember that one teacher that treated them like garbage. You know what I'm saying? So like, as soon as you say teacher, it brings them back to that, and they're like, well, if there are any teachers like that at that school, I'm not helping. I'm not giving money. I'm not donating. I'm not signing any petition or anything like that, because that's the first thing they think of.
But then that kind of comes back to this whole, I feel like that comes back to the system that we have for education, as far as that we technically only have one teaching style when it comes to this whole, like, we have a curriculum and we're supposed to follow this curriculum, and then at the end we take a test, and that is supposed to judge how well we know the information.
Yeah.
While some of us, we couldn't take a goddamn test to save our lives.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you this, any of the things that I've taken tests on, I shouldn't say it like that. There are things that I've taken tests on that I didn't know the actual answers for that, but if you put me in a scenario where I needed to complete a task using what the information you got me, I would complete the task, and I would be able to do it right. And so I feel like it's come down to more like numbers, really. That's all students have become. And there are very few schools that I feel like really cherish their students and really try to give them something that's going to take them out of, or give them the edge up that they need to improve their lives overall. Like my sister, she got into it's like the University of Oregon, and she got this little box. School. Yeah, like she got this little box, and they're like, "Hey, this and that," and it was like a feather, because their mascot is the duck, right? And she comes
by Nike too. A lot of money.
And so she's sitting there. She's like, "Oh my god!" And it's just little things like that. I mean, that's not really helping. It's not really helping my case, but just
so feathers.
Yeah.
But like,
feathers are dope, bro. Like feathers, man.
Feather, man. Well, yeah, it was this whole box of like, hey, we're excited to have you here, and we can't wait to see what you're gonna do with this.
Yeah.
We hope that we can give you something that you can take out of here. And I like to see it when they follow through with that, when they have teachers there that are really going to be like, all right, so we could do a test, or we could actually go out into the field and you guys can see what the heck you're going to be doing.
Yeah.
Like I have this one professor. I keep talking about the same professor. I've been talking about this one professor all day.
He's only had one professor.
No, I've only had one professor. I had a music business teacher. It's Jay Henry, and he I swear, he really lays it down. I think that whole time I took the class, I only took one test.
That's
Right.
dope.
But he was not only was he giving information, he was having us take notes. He actually let us go and see. He actually let us go and see. It was like a studio. He gave us an opportunity to he gave us an opportunity that if we wanted to have a chance to record in the studio. And so what he was doing was he was trying to see how you would react in real life situations, where if you were presented an opportunity, are you going to take that opportunity? Because for the business the business that he was preparing us for, the music business, there are certain things that you need to be able to do, or you have to be okay with risk, especially risk, because this isn't just you go to work and it's 9 to 5. This is, you could spend all week on something and only make $100 out of it, or you could spend like maybe a few hours on something and it makes $1 million.
Yeah.
But it all comes down to this working with people, taking chances, really taking chances, and he would reward the people that are willing to do that. And so he was teaching you and preparing you for what he was supposed to be preparing you to do. And so I only bring him up just because it's teachers like that are really trying to give you something, really trying to give you this knowledge that does that it exceeds the classroom.
Wow.
It far exceeds the classroom.
I agree.
I have something on the opposite end of the spectrum. Way back, I was in university. I won't say where or who, but this professor was like retiring. This was his last term, and we didn't do anything in that class. Like, we literally spent an entire class rating movies, like throughout the years. Like, oh, what was the best movie of the 70s? What was the best movie of the 80s?
Oh, he was just chilling.
Hell yeah. It was cool. We didn't learn a damn thing. We all got A's, and then I graduated.
There you go.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I mean, some classes you're just never gonna use it regardless. Like, your class sounded cool. Most of my classes were bullshit.
It's a lot of college.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Just a BS.
yeah, that's because they try to they make general education, and then they put things in the general education that don't. I'm not gonna say they don't need to be there, but I'll put it like this: the teachers know that students don't want to be there, and they treat them like it. So they're like, none of you guys care, so you guys can play on your phones. I'm gonna play an educational video, and I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna eat a sandwich because nobody in the room cares.
Yeah, facts.
That is true. But I will say that was not a general education class.
That's good. I mean, and yeah, some teachers I respect a lot because,
yes, definitely.
like, general education teachers, and I'll just put that out there. Like, most teachers, besides the one who you genuinely don't care about you or themselves, you can tell. Like, but most teachers I respect because coming in and teaching anything, being a dance teacher, it's hard.
It is very hard.
It's hard to retain attention. It's hard to have the same numbers consistently. It's hard to deal with each individual person and their lives and the way that they think and their ideals and all this stuff. Like, trying to bundle all that up in an hour and a half or however long you have, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's terribly tough. So, like, I respect the teachers who knew that the kids in the class didn't care, but they still taught the class the same way.
Yeah.
They still taught it with vigor and like enthusiasm and like, and most of the time with GEs, I'm like, yeah, I don't care. I just come in, have music turned really low on my phone so I can hear what's happening, but I'm still doing what I want to do.
Yeah.
And then there were some classes, like some teachers, they would like force me to, but like, I wanted to take my headphones out and listen to what they had to say. I wanted to learn something. Like, they made it so interesting. It's like, oh, that's actually really cool. And you like take notes and you sit and you listen and like you're engaged. And teachers who can do that, especially on a college level where nobody cares about anything, like, I applaud them. And not giving up is way harder to do, especially in a college setting. Because students give up, teachers give up, and then the class just becomes what were the best movies, you know? But one class that I took, it was an African Studies class. Our current president had just gotten elected. And so instead of having class, like he brought his son because his son was sick. And he just kind of talked about it. He talked about politically. He didn't talk about where he stood politically, but he talked about both sides.
Yeah.
He talked about what he think it's going to do to our country. And we just all had like a real genuine conversation about status of our country. And it was important. It was an important conversation to have. And I didn't have that in any of my other classes, you know? I didn't have that with my women's studies class or like my biology class. We were learning about the rainforest. Like what so like there wasn't really room to talk about it. But that teacher who sat down and really just talked about what was happening, what that's gonna look for me, being an African American, what's that gonna look like being in these upcoming years, like was very important.
Yeah.
And teachers who give room for that moment, who give room for that lesson, quote unquote, I respect the hell out of those teachers.
Yeah.
And now those are teachers who stick in my head when I'm struggling and trying to think about something or trying to figure out a dance or something like that to teach somebody else. Those teachers stick out at me. Yeah. It's like, okay, maybe not teach today, just sit down, talk to high schoolers about how they're doing. Like, I've done that a couple of times, and I don't realize how much I don't know because I don't give them space to let them tell me.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? So, like,
the fact that your teacher was even able, like, he recognized that, and he knew the importance of having to talk about it.
Exactly.
The teachers that really go that extra mile.
Yeah.
Because I think everybody in this room has actually taught a class at some point.
Oh yeah, wow.
Like even the class that I teach, it's like so what I teach jazz, and so I believe that if you need a director for jazz, then you're not playing real jazz, because jazz originates from a bunch of mixed cultures all in one area. They can't all speak the same language, and they need to communicate somehow. And then you also have like histories and histories of different cultures, like oppression, and there was slavery, and there's so much happening in one area, and it's all clashing into this beautiful thing that it's just people just trying to communicate. And so usually what one of my first it's like lessons is that I'll usually just have them just kind of tell them to communicate without using words. Which is my favorite exercise. I love that exercise so much. I tell them, you all have to communicate in this room without using words. You can use your instruments, you can use whatever. You can't write, you can't use words. Just and so then they wind up playing something, and usually not all of them are as experienced, so it sometimes sounds a little off, but they have fun and they enjoy it. And then afterwards I have them just like say like, okay, what were you trying to say?
That's interesting.
Then later on as the class goes, just like, hey, just checking up on them. What do you got going on? You know, I noticed this, I noticed that. And like, yeah, this is like my friends, and just being on the side where you're trying to be the teacher that cares about your students. Because I didn't really get paid for what I did. At least at first, I was just a volunteer, and I just wanted to help these kids and help them grow. And so I see what you mean, where you just like when you see the other side of that, you just see like how difficult that is.
Yeah.
But then that really goes down back to the first statement, where it's like teachers need to get paid more.
Yeah, I need to get paid more.
Yeah, me too.
Especially if, you know, these parents are spending all day working. So who's really spending all that time with your kid? It's those teachers.
Yeah.
Those teachers are the ones who know your kid. They've seen what's going on. They know what's going on in their personal life. And you see them for maybe 3, maybe 4 hours a day. If you're not one of those parents that's like, you come home, you do homework, and you get that done first, you have dinner, and then you go to bed.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like, who's really getting to know your kid?
Yeah, who's really raising your kid for those 12 years. That's 12 years.
That's 12 years.
Yeah.
The television is my daddy.
There you go. But yeah.
Okay.
It's,
I'm sorry, I'm gonna cut in really quick. So we didn't really get a chance to do an intro, but that's okay. I'll just add in an intro later. Just want to quickly throw in a little, hey, check out our Podbean site. Maybe there'll be a link for t-shirts and stuff like that. You can really help support us. If you guys want to help us by checking out any of the other stuff that are links on there.
Buy everything.
I actually just released 2 new t-shirts for one for the podcast that we're doing, and then another one that's just a cute little thing that maybe you guys might like. Sorry, that's it. That's all I got. That's all I got right now.
Oh, well, buy shirts, support the podcast. I don't
Watch the videos. Just check them out.
If
Steven works really hard.
you guys like the videos enough, Ruben will start selling his underwear.
There you go. Used.
Oh yeah, it's
preferably.
it's well worn.
Oh yeah.
I have one set you can almost see through them.
No, that's
How else are you gonna become a good teacher like Ruben here?
You gotta smell like the teacher.
You gotta become the teacher.
Become the teacher.
You really gotta wear the pants of the
There you
teacher.
go. There it is.
The teacher comes in and is just like, all right, whose turn is it to wear my pants?
That'd be terrible.
Everybody like looks at each other like, oh shit, was it Mike? Oh shit, fuck. Like got that one kid panic in the room because he knows it's him, but he doesn't want to say anything.
Starts sweating profusely. Tyler, oh, please! I wore my own pants today.
Isn't this illegal? No.
No.
This is a valuable learning experience.
You're gonna learn today, Tyler. Okay, sorry.
His name's Tyler.
Put on my pants. No.
Oh my
god.
Tyler was never the same after that day.
After that day, he was never seen again.
Tyler was homeschooled from that day on. So, like, are we just gonna imagine that we started to do the intros, or
No, I'll probably have either you or it's like Veronica do the intro, and then we'll just do a fade in. So yeah, if anybody wants to know how we figure out the intros and openings, that's basically it. Buy t-shirts so I can start getting paid for this because I need money. Yeah, I need to pay Braylon. He's looking at me really intensely here. He's like, hey man, I need to get paid soon. Like I got kids I gotta feed.
I do it for friendship inherently, but getting paid would be nice.
That top ramen's not gonna buy itself.
It's not.
Still
I
waiting
literally
for my
say ramen before
22 cents.
It's terrible.
Yeah, we making. I make enough to give you ramen today, and then that's it.
That's my food for the week.
That's my food for the weekend. I gotta make one little thing of ramen last the whole week.
Delish.
Oh.
Also, Top Ramen is not the superior ramen. Maruchan is the superior ramen company. All right, so
hey, I love all ramen.
I do too.
Oh, we should go get ramen after this.
Are you down?
I'm actually kind of down.
I haven't eaten all day.
I say after we just said we don't have any money.
Not because of that. I just
there you go.
Well, I mean, if it'll get you guys to buy shirts, I haven't eaten because I have no money.
No, there we go. There it is.
No. I'm sorry, I totally interrupted you. What'd you say?
No, that's it.
No, that's it. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh no,
me?
like my
baby.
Feed me, please.
So it's like my girlfriend, like she likes to go check out all these different food places. So we'll just she'll see a place, she'll be like, oh hey, I want to go check that out, and then I guess she makes a mental note of that. So like not even like 2 or 3 weeks later, she'll be like, hey, that place that I saw, we're gonna go. And I'm all like, that's like an hour and a half from here. She's like, yeah.
It doesn't matter.
We're going. And I'm like, I'm okay with that.
Ruben, we're going to that place 3 hours away.
I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
No, but she's usually just kind of like, hey, can we go check this out? And I'm like, yeah, let's go do it. And we find some interesting places. But my favorite ramen place right now is actually like right down the street from where I'm at. Yeah, it's weird because like there's a few different ramen places where I'm at, but my favorite one, they have this like really creamy broth kind of. It's so good. It fills you right up, and I wish I could remember. I always forget the name. I think I want to say it's like the bento and noodles. but it's so good. I want to.
Oh, you mean the one by Target?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
Bonto
my
noodles
God.
is fire.
Target noodles, baby.
Target noodles. Let's go. Target.
Noodles.
If you can serve noodles like that, hella, let's go.
They
Like,
can never run out. They can just literally go across the street, go get more noodles.
More Maruchan.
Yeah, that's it.
or
That's the secret.
the secret is Maruchan.
I wouldn't be mad at it at all.
Oh man. You know, earlier in the episode, I was gonna be like, oh my God, I'm sorry guys for such a sad start, and then I realized that we were really diving into this topic. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
I'm cool with it. It's not my podcast. I'm just a guest.
Yeah. Watch Ruben cuts the whole first 30 minutes.
That's tough.
Well, I do. I had one person on the podcast a while ago, and he had a very diverse set of expletives. Is that what I'm looking for? Insults. Very. His diction was something that needed to kind of be bleeped out.
Oh.
I'll say that. But he understood that, so he was like, okay, I'm gonna try to do this episode not saying any of the profanity. There we go, profanity. Not using as much.
Well, expletives is still correct.
Yeah.
It's a fancier word.
Yeah.
He was
He was expletiving.
he's expletiving all over the podcast.
Right there, baby.
Well, and if you go back, I think it's the first of it's the guest test, if not the second one, but there was an episode where he was like, "Oh yeah, that's right. I gotta get all of my profanity out in like the first like 20 seconds." So he was saying things that I'm starting to like, "Whoa, okay, we need a."
Oh, can we have that at the end?
Yeah.
Like 30 seconds of just profanity.
It just bleeping. It's just a bleep line. It's just my heartbeat.
So,
And I remember going back, and when he was doing it, I was actually writing down the times. I don't know if Matt remembers that. Maybe I'll bring him on and ask him. But I was writing down times frantically for like, bleep this part, bleep this part, bleep this part, and since then I've learned I just got to keep the computer on me so that way I can just look back at the time and make sure that I log that, because oh my God, going through audio is sometimes fun, because with the video you have a visual, you can click around and see where, and you're like, oh, okay, this was this part of that.
editing is fun.
But if you don't remember the conversation, going back and looking through audio, you're like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I edited my first video a couple weeks ago.
Oh, you did?
Nice.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw it. It was just like an 8-second video of my noodles that I had sitting on my passenger seat in my car, and I braked really hard, and the noodles fell out of my seat and onto the floor, and I stopped and I recorded it for 8 seconds, and then I went home and then I downloaded a free video editor, and then I put like a that meme song, "How Could This Happen to Me?"
How could this happen?
And then I put like a Pepe frog, like the sad Pepe frog on it.
Oh my God,
And that was my first video edit.
that's actually really cool.
You'll see me on Avatar 2
There you go. That's it.
as an editor.
That's actually, I'm really glad you brought that up, because a lot of people think that the people that make content, they've been making it for they've been making it for like since they were born, and that they were born knowing how to do it, and it's like you gotta start somewhere.
Yeah.
And I did not see that video. Where's that video at? I want to see that after
It's
this.
on my Instagram. I think it's still up.
Really? I actually check your Instagram sometimes.
Shoot. Yeah, it was like one of those highlight stories, I think.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it took me an hour to fix up this little 8-second video, and like it may sound stupid, but like that was me learning how to like edit a video and like put like static images in it, and like it was pretty cool. So I might do that more in the future.
Well, yeah, you took a video, one from a different source. So I'm assuming it was on your
So
phone.
I took the video, I uploaded it to my computer. I ripped the song off YouTube.
There you go. There's one copy.
I downloaded the frog without paying for a licensing fee, and I figured out how to fade it in when I zoomed in. Oh yeah, I took the video and then I zoomed into the noodles.
Fade in the image and you're doing zooms like.
Yeah, dude, I'm like a maestro now.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah,
look
he's
at you.
a savant, an editing savant. After an 8-second video, he just figures it out.
For anybody who wants to become a musician really fast and really easy, learn how to play the tuba and literally just learn 3 notes, and I will tell you which notes those are in the next episode. But
Oh man,
cliffhangers. But I'm not gonna end the episode yet. My timer's still going. Or wait, no, actually that's really good time. We're at 45 minutes, so either we can start wrapping this up, or we can just end it here. I don't know if there was anything left unsaid.
yeah. There's like about 30 seconds of expletives to say.
Yeah. I don't think my mom's gonna listen to the podcast if I.
Yeah, go
You
ahead.
want to just fade out while we're expleting?
Just-
I don't know. Can I plug
yeah, of course you can plug.
my shitty?
No. It's an awesome thing.
No, I just want to because I don't know how often I'm gonna be on here, so special guest.
Special guest Braylon.
Yeah, just Instagram.
Whoop.
I'm trying to do more things like acting, modeling, skits, and stuff like that.
Which he's
So
really good at. I just want to vouch for him really quick because
don't let him hype
I'll
me up.
vouch for him as well.
Even though we met today. But yeah, so Instagram, Greater B Living, GR8RB, the word living. That's it.
yeah. He's actually the one who did the last of it's a Golden Boys intro.
Oh, you used it.
Oh right. Oh now I recognize
Yeah,
it.
that was me.
Surprise.
Yeah, I also do voiceovers. If I didn't say that.
Yeah, he did. He does the voiceovers. He's a great actor. He has music. You should
do have
definitely
that
check
too.
that out.
Oh yeah, Reburst. I should probably plug that too. Steven will get mad at me. If
Yeah,
I
he would get mad if you didn't plug it.
yeah. So okay, so Reburst, me and Steven, he did some audio engineering for the podcast. We make music together. So that Instagram page is REBURST official. I don't know if there's an underscore. I don't think there is.
No, I think there's a dot in between it. I think it's
dot.
no.
Official.
Yeah, I think it's Rebirth.official or something like that.
I should probably know my own fucking.
Dude, I feel that. Like, I have an account. It's like Wyatt underscore the. It's Wyatt, the white cat, spelt Wyatt with all the letters of white. So kind of like a WHIET. So it's like Wyatt. Anyway, it's like Wyatt the white cat, and that's where I just put all my art and shit. But I upload very rarely because if I'm not working on this or the websites, I'm trying to work on the music. So I have so
Busy
much.
man.
Yeah, I have so much stuff that needs to start going up, and I'm just like, I just want to do the other thing. I feel like once I start on one thing, I want to do the other thing.
Yeah, that's like every human instinct ever. But I was right. It was just Reburst official.
Oh.
So
Well, am I not the fool?
yeah,
I am the fool.
yeah.
The fool I am.
When will I learn?
When will you learn?
That your actions have consequences. Okay, so yeah, that's our Instagram. We have an album on Spotify, Apple Music, and whatever major site is. It's called Lost. Just type in Reburst, you should find it. And then
That's good.
we have around SoundCloud too. Just look at that.
They actually have a mixtape up. It's really cool. It's,
I am now following Reburst official.
Yay!
dude, look at that.
I'll probably get a notification. I'm like, yep, sure did.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say your
When
name.
will you learn?
But yeah,
Oh yeah, you should definitely check out the SoundCloud. They have a mixtape up, and my favorite one is Can't Make a Bumblebee.
oh yeah.
I'm bringing home.
We actually recorded that in the studio right over there.
Oh.
Yeah, so that was dope. That is probably my favorite song that I've
It's a great song.
made like ever.
Dude, you guys sent me the files for that, and the minute, like not even like the first 2 seconds, I was like, ah, shit, that's gonna be good.
Yeah, so if you do anything, follow anything, listen to that song specifically. I want that song to be our most listened to song. Just despite any of my.
It's just
other-
such a good song. It's just, anyway, I don't know where you're listening to this at. If you're on Spotify, you're on the Podbeam or whatever, but we actually have an Instagram page. I'm sorry about the Facebook page. The Facebook page is currently going through some issues right now because Facebook it's like they're trying to fight me right now. We also have a Twitter that Steven I think helped me set up, and then I think we have a Tumblr. Now that I checked that. I made us one, so if you guys want to check us out on there,
Tumblr still exists?
it does still exist apparently.
Yeah, weekly though, they got rid of breasticles.
Oh god,
what?
it doesn't
Why?
exist.
Exactly.
Okay,
It's
so never
over.
mind. We're mostly on Twitter and Instagram. Those are the two places where you can really find us. You'll find pictures on Instagram and on Twitter. Occasionally, one of us will just tweet, just because.
About Ruben's underwear.
My underwear and the phones, because people bring phones into the bathroom.
Oh right, yes.
Yeah.
That's tough. But all right.
Oh, look, okay.
Yeah.
We've been doing that voice all day.
Honestly, I'm tired. My throat hurts.
All right. Well, yeah. Thank you guys for listening. I'm Ruben Ortega.
I'm James Mikesell.
Brayland, greater be living Hearn.
And that's my watch telling me that it is time.
Yay.
I will see you guys later. Bye.
Goodbye, my friends.
Later.
Also, check out our new merch at storefrontier.com/starlight-wings. Anything that you buy can support us and keep us going to bring you guys new content. If you would like to learn more, check out our Podbean site, inquisitiveechoes.podbean.com. Bye!
Or are you just gonna record them both together? We're doing two?
Yeah, we're doing two, but this one is just like the fade out.
Oh.
And now it's gonna be me explaining the fade out. It's gonna be the bleeps and then the fade out. All right. This chair.
Why don't you just take that